Hello, everyone. My name is Patricia Tristan, and I'm a student at Southwestern College. And today I am presenting you a strategic plan for organization, leadership, and finances for Mesias United Methodist Mission Church. Mesias UMC Mission Church is located in Wichita, Kansas, and is housed at First United Methodist Church. Its vital statistics are membership of 25 adults, 18 children, and 3 youth, with one contemporary worship service, one Sunday school, and 2 Bible studies, one a women's Bible study, and another one a congregational Bible study during the week. The structure for this church consists of the pastor and church council, which is um, which consists of the church council chair, secretary, treasurer, leader of evangelism, leader of children's ministry, pastor parish relations chair, and lay leader. Their mission statement is come and experiment the love of Christ, and their leadership is a great potential for developing leaders, and the next phase is to train them. My strategic proposal for the structure of leadership consists of organization and structure, mission and purpose statement, and developing a constitution. It is very important that Mesias develops a philosophy of organization and a structure of the church. According to Welch, in his textbook, Church Administration Created Efficiency for Effective Ministry, a constitution is a statement of theology that describes how the church interprets the scripture for the vision and mission of the church. The mission and purpose statement of a church or organization are usually a preamble to the larger document, the Constitution and bylaws. One way of developing a constitution would be by revising the mission and vision statements and analyzing how these two statements align with the work El Mesias is doing to fulfill their call of mission. After studying their current organization plan and their mission statement, I propose that El Mesias moves from a centralized organization style where the church expects the pastor to be the only leader to a participative organization style where there's a leader, but the leadership is delegated down through the organizational matrix and through the lines of authority. And this is the chart that I'm providing for you, the senior pastor working along with other ministries. My strategic proposal for the structure is by function, and so I have developed 4 ways to delegate leadership. One is worship, one is discipleship education, and one is evangelism and administration. The advantages of this type of organization are administrative decisions are pushed downward to where the supervisory levels lie, and decision making is pushed down, and because of it, many more people are involved in the process of making decisions for the whole as a church. The concept of teamwork is prevalent. There are 4 basic areas described by Welch in which the church can be organized: pastoral, education, music, and support. For the purpose of focusing on the needs of El Mesias, I have concised these functions as follow. Again, worship, discipleship, educational, evangelism, and administration. In the worship, the question would be who is going to plan the services along with the pastor? Who will lead services, create PowerPoints, and take care of sound and technology? According to Dr. Gary S. Linton, praise and worship should be a large part of the Christian's life. But there are also clear biblical reasons for us to worship God. He states, Paul exhorts to present your bodies as a living and holy sacrifice, acceptable to God, which is your spiritual service of worship, from Romans 12:1. Our purpose is to bring pleasure to God, and one way of doing this is to praise and worship. In order for this to happen, there needs to be at least three people involved in the planning of weekly worship along with the pastor. The leader of worship, the creative worship leader, sound and technology minister, and the praise band, which also will lead the congregation in music and adoration. Secondly, disciple and education. In the United Methodist Church, we focus on equipping world changing disciples, and we do this by dividing discipleship in four areas: children, youth, adult ministries, and evangelism. Children are born with an innate sense of wonder and faith that is real and authentic. Being able to find teachers and leaders who provide a foundation for experiences on which children build a life of learning and growth toward a mature and vital faith is important. The development of youth and young adults as the spiritual leaders of the local congregations can transform their lives and make them become disciples of Jesus Christ. And I'm suggesting that we go beyond curriculum, programs, and best practices to recover, learn, and learn from our Wesleyan roots. My recommendation would be to prepare one leader to oversee all of these areas of discipleship education that, that could serve as central persons for curriculum and also for seeking teachers for these areas. Evangelism needs to stand on its own because this is the place where disciples are ready to go out into the world and share the good news of salvation. According to the article, What is the Meaning of Evangelism Ministry? Markey describes evangelism as any ministry whose chief aim is to win converts to Christ. The discipleship ministries of the United Methodist Church provides the mission, purpose, and responsibilities for for evangelistic ministries. Envision God's will for the ministry of evangelism and make sure they align with the vision of the church and develop a plan for an overall evangelism strategy. Prepare a system that reaches out to people, welcomes them into the congregation, relates them to God, and equips them and empowers them for the ministry. Let's focus on administration now. According to Jameson and Jameson in their textbook, Ministry and Money, a practical guide for pastors, the purpose of accounting within the church is to provide a system to accurately capture and record financial transactions to meaningfully measure progress towards financial goals. Leadership of Mesias. Leadership is necessary in order to move the church in the direction of God. Christ-centered leadership is what the church of today needs in order to incarnate the attitude of Christ and to develop a dynamic way of living out faith that expands in the church and outside the church. Center leadership of David L. McKenna calls for leaders for discipleships of Christ to live out their faith starting on empty, leading from nothing, leaders that die to all and that are humble, and leaders who mediate for others. El Mesias has great leaders ready to be trained and be transformed into Christ-centered leaders. The strategic proposal for leadership is training. And the first phase of this training calls for an introduction to Methodism. Since many of the people that come to this church come from the Catholic tradition, this will focus on Christian roots, Wesleyan heritage, and sacraments. The second phase will be a workshop on Christ-centered leadership using the resources provided above, with a follow-up core group meetings that will focus on the incarnate movement, the incarnate mind, and the incarnate model. The last phase would introduce leaders to the process communication inventory, a tool which enables leaders to understand, motivate, and communicate effectively with others. People who use the process communication model benefit a whole lot from practical tools specifically designed for successful everyday management of communication. His strategic proposal administration um, focuses on two parts: administration and finances, including how to make a budget and how to allocate resources for priority ministries. Administrating staff, administrating of assets, and clarity of finances, and addressing stewardship. Mesias currently does not own a property buildings, but it does own a couple of computers, projectors, microphones, stands, and music instruments. And this property needs to be um, given maintenance and protection. Finances. In order to obtain complete transparency in all money matters that include money collected on Sunday mornings and fundraisers, the church must work to meet the financial controls. Financial controls are described as an act of leadership that demonstrate and respect for the stewardship and leadership and those who work hard in the church, volunteers and members, and contributors as well. The three internal controls I propose are segregation of duties, authorization of procedures, and documented transactions. Messiah's Church will achieve transparency in its totality by practicing these internal controls, and God will be glorified in the way the administration of the church is approached. Stewardship. In this category, I'm also adding the budget component. Jamieson and Jamieson state that budgets are the clearest statements of what the congregation affirms. In the end, only those things that the church is willing to fund can be said to be of value to them. Budget also supports the mission, objectives, and goals of the church, creates it as well as it is created to support the spirit directed objectives and goals. The proposed ministry action budget will be a mission action base. Secondly, I am addressing stewardship in the article in stewardship in the article for principles of biblical stewardships. Welchel states that stewardship is where the concept of faith, work, and economic intersects. The current budget for Mesias is 19,000, of which only 4,500 come as an assistance from the conference for the mission church status. The church will need to raise $13,500, and I believe that good stewardship can help meet the need, but education will need to happen first. The stewardship is where the concept of faith and works and economics intercede, as I said it before. And also, Jamieson and Jamieson state that when God's work is the focus, giving allows people to participate in the mission day. The stewardship is all about giving. The United Methodist Church Discipleship offers an explanation of how the gifts that we receive from God can be administered by us. We get the gifts of time, abilities, and resources. The gift from God and how we choose to use it is a matter of stewardship, and this is a gift of time. The abilities. God gives us different talents and gifts. How do we develop these gifts is a matter of stewardship. What we earn, how we earn it, how we spend it, save it, and give it away are also questions of stewardship. We are the stewards and God is the owner. My final remarks are El Mesias UMC Mission Church has all the potential to become a church where God is exalted by the way their organization is structured, how their leadership is responding to discipleship, and how they administer their finances. Thank you for your attention, and this is all following is the reference page.